hell? This isn't the poem by John Milton. Wikipedia lies to me once again. This episode opens with Superman and Wonder Woman working together to help save people during a tropical storm. Spotting a child in a tree, Wonder Woman saves the girl and returns her to her mother. Feeling homesick, Wonder Woman takes Superman's advice and returns home to Themyscira, only to find that every single person has turned into a statue. Well, all except one.
Ground. Wait! Harm me and the others will remain as they are. Cold, hard stone.
Who are you? Talk!
My name is Faust. Felix Faust.
Before Wonder Woman can turn Faust's face inside out, he reveals he's the only one who can turn it back to normal, but will only do it if Wonder Woman brings him a set of artifacts, and like any good old-fashioned villain, gives her a time limit. Seeing no other choice, Wonder Woman agrees and sets off, whilst Faust talks to Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
Faust! Why do you linger there?
A change in plans, my lord.
What?
The relics are protected by powerful forces. Why should I risk my neck when someone else can get them for me?
If you fail me, it's not your neck you'll need to worry about.
Wonder Woman finds the first artifact, but in the process has to fight a giant statue that just happens to be nearby and comes to life, which of course wrecks the building. Some of the other Justice League members show up and ask Wonder Woman what's going on, soon splitting off to find the artifacts and information on Faust. Flash and Jean find one artifact and get attacked like Wonder Woman did, but it's over rather quickly.
Remind me to never get on your bad side.
The actual more interesting fight is between Wonder Woman and Superman after this happens.
Superman?
Diana! What?
What have you done with Superman?
It's clever that if you aren't paying attention, you won't notice at first that it's actually them fighting each other, and not just some very impressive match cutting in the edit. After a time, Superman sees a reflection that shows he's fighting Wonder Woman and attempts to surrender and explain, but he takes a few more hits before he can convince her. Back on the island, Faust talks to Gimli some more and, like any villain worth his salt, says that the world will soon be theirs.
Forgive me. I simply meant that the relics will soon be here. I feel it in my bones, and then, Lord Hades, the world will be ours.
Batman learns of Faust's past and that he might not be someone to underestimate.
He swore revenge on those who mocked him, and several later disappeared under mysterious circumstances.
I have a pretty good idea what happened to them.
Learning of a reference to Tartarus, Wonder Woman realizes that Faust is working for Hades, and explains how Hades and her mother were a couple, before Hades was banished for betraying the gods. Talk about your messy breakups. With a little more information, they realize the artifacts are actually a key to unlock the gates of Tartarus, and that they have no choice but to hand it over. At the exchange, Faust attempts to double-cross them, but Flash steals away the amulet that turned all the Amazons to stone, and as you can expect, a fight breaks out, with unfortunately Hippolyta getting captured by Faust. Which is technically the first time this happens in the series, though of course we know that a few episodes later in Fury she'll be captured all over again, and if that keeps happening we'll have to start calling her Daphne. The gate is open and Faust is rewarded with the ultimate knowledge by Hades.
Ultimately, pain and suffering are all man will ever know.
Good lord.
Oh Faust, in every continuity you get hilariously fucked over. The fight begins, and whilst it's shown that only Superman is able to go toe-to-toe with Hades, Hades decides to go all Army of Darkness and starts summoning skeletons.
Behold the fate of all heroes.
Luckily, Faust reawakens and attacks Hades, giving enough time for Wonder Woman to destroy the key, making the gate go in reverse. Because shut up. Hippolyta is almost taken to Tartarus with Hades, but Wonder Woman saves her. Though it's bittersweet, as it appears the rest of the Amazons will be frozen forever.
Is there nothing we can do for them?
I still have this snake-headed doohickey.
But only Faust knew the spells. Without him...
Yow!
Or maybe not. Guess Wonder Woman shouldn't have been so hasty. Whilst Hippolyta honours the others, unfortunately she also banishes Wonder Woman for bringing men to the island. Whilst the team quickly attempts to defend her, Wonder Woman accepts the decree and leaves along with the others, ending the episode. This episode works well in doing what it needs to do, show that Wonder Woman is fiercely loyal to her home and will do anything, even when she knows the possible consequences, to help it. And if it focused more on that, it would have worked out better, but things like Flash and Jean taking on the snake monster and Batman learning about Faust feel more like things to fill in time. They're tools to bridge the gap between pieces of the plot, and speaking of tools, Faust is both that in the literal sense of the plot and the figurative sense of the narrative. Why is he there exactly? He's not the main antagonist, and other than causing a distraction at the end, doesn't really do much. It feels like for someone who is a major villain within the DCU, he gets a bit rushed. It would have made more sense if Wonder Woman was tricked by Hades into unlocking the gates, believing something that might seem too good to be true. A question of blind faith against individualism. Though I'll admit there is a later episode, Hearts and Minds, that touches on something very similar. It's not really a far-out idea to think that Hades could trick and manipulate Wonder Woman. He knew the Amazons and Hippolyta, so he could easily have convinced Wonder Woman that he wasn't who he said he was. Or they could have just had Faust open the gate and go mad with power instead of the Justice League trading dance partners. On a separate note, getting the artifact should have been something of a journey for the team instead of it being over so quickly. Though the fight between Superman and Wonder Woman is wonderfully done. It feels like the Flash's and Jean's one wasn't even needed, just a quick line of running into some trouble, but it was no problem. Which is a surprising thing to find in this series, a moment that feels wasted. They could have filled in those sections between with information on Wonder Woman and Themyscira, as really so little is known about either at this point. And given that gods play a huge role in Wonder Woman's ideology, the Amazons' ideology, and a god is the villain for the episode, it might have linked itself a little better. Given that the only other time we'll see Themyscira after this episode is in Fury, it does feel like there's a lack of information, as we can understand why Wonder Woman is doing what she has to, but we don't actually know why. While I could poke holes and question why about this and that, it doesn't make it any less of an episode. However, it does mean Paradise lost out on this list and ended up at number 21. Hey people, and thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the next one of these a full day before anybody else, you can do that by supporting me on my Patreon page. However, if you're watching this on my Patreon page, then thanks for your support.